Hi, my name is David Wellman, and I have the honor of being the director of the Gray School of Applied Diplomacy here at DePaul University. And I'm very pleased to be here today with our 2024-2026 Global South Scholar, Andrea Fuentes Martinez.
Hi, my name is Andrea. I'm from Mexico City. I'm a student in the Applied Diplomacy Master Program, taking a concentration in environmental diplomacy.
So, Andrea, why does diplomacy matter to you?
I think I have come to an understanding that diplomacy is everywhere, either in the domestic or international arenas, or in private, public sector, NGOs. And I think the deep understanding of diplomacy can really help to improve people's relationship to each other. Um, so yeah.
I'm curious to know, why did you choose to come to Chicago to study at the Gray School?
Well, I think originally it was because of how the program is structured. Like the fact that you can take a concentration in so many different areas, and not only that, but that the course is not completely fixed. I like the fact that you can choose a class because you understand, and in a very personal level, you know why do you have to take that class and how it's going to be useful for your concentration. And on the other hand, I feel like in general, the perspective of the program is to change the future of diplomacy in a better way. And how can we question like the classical, maybe more conservative understandings of diplomacy? Um, I think the fact that the faculty members and the students in the program is like so broad, and it has so many different nationalities also brings a huge perspective, or difference on the perspective on how the program is taught and how the program is taught. So yeah, I think it was mainly that reason, not Chicago specifically, but how the program is built.
Um, so, I'm curious, what is your concentration in applied diplomacy, and why does that matter to you?
So my concentration is environmental diplomacy. It matters to me because I've been always interested in how environmental impacts or climate change or everything that has to do like with the natural environment affect basically all of us. And I think the first step to change the negative impacts is to create policies that actually protect the environment. And I think the only way to do that is with collaboration at the international level. So those agreements are signed through negotiations, and I think there is a huge there is a huge lack of representation from many communities, and I want to be part of this new representation. I think there are many voices that are being silenced, and I have the great opportunity of being more educated in the environmental and in the diplomatic arena. So I think I could help to do some change in that part.
I strongly suspect you could. So, what have you been able to accomplish at the Gray School? And that could include talking about things that you've published or conferences you've attended, anything along those lines.
Yes. Well, first, I I kind of achieved like defining my like professional and life path. I feel like in general the school gave me so many perspectives and so many new understandings of what diplomacy can be, and I definitely fall in love like with the discipline in general. So that's the most important thing for me, to know where am I going or where do I want to go to. Second, I recently, well, last year, I went to an international conference in Serbia, thanks to the support of the Gray School. I went to talk about a paper I wrote 1 or 2 years before, about Mexican diaspora. And yeah, thanks to the support of a grade school, I got to go to my first international conference. And now I'm working in other papers, and I feel really comfortable with the fact that I have so many faculty members, teachers, and I could say colleagues that can advise me in how to write those papers and what's the best way to publish them. So I think it has opened like my academic path in some way. Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, I think there's a book that's coming out in a month or two that you've made a contribution to. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, that was actually the paper I wanted to talk about to Serbia. It's a book chapter, and it's about new ways of doing diplomacy. It's more focused in diaspora in general and citizen diplomacy, which I think it's really important to talk about to decentralize diplomacy from states. Um, my chapter in personal was about how Mexican diaspora contributes to economic diplomacy in different countries. And I used 3 case studies, yeah, for that. So yeah, I'm excited because it's going to be published in around a month. So, well, I hope
Well, I can't think of many more subjects more important than that one right now.
so.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, I'm just wondering overall, what is your experience of being a student at the Gray School?
Mm,
What's it like to be a student here?
it's been exhausting, but in a good way. In a good way, because I feel like I'm constantly overstimulating, you know, um, because of the amount of things that I have to read. And I feel like that happens in general in master's programs. Um, but at the same time, I feel like I have so many things to learn about diplomacy and like all the areas where it can be applied that I'm like constantly, trying to understand and learn more things. So mentally, it has been challenging, but at the same time, I think it has given me like a deep calm and peace because I don't know, I just feel happy. Like even if I'm exhausted constantly, I love reading. I love going to classes. I love having discussions, and I think this is one of the only times where I can actually be in a classroom and express myself. And not only am I going to be like heard, but I'm going to have like the possibility of have a discussion, not only with the rest of the students, but I feel like teachers actually get engaged in the conversations. Like they look that they actually are interested in what you're saying. And I mean, they know what you're talking about. So I feel like I'm in my natural environment. Like sometimes I try to talk about these topics with people outside the master's program, and they don't get it so much because they don't care so much about it. But at the school, I just feel like yeah, it's like my space.
Hmm.
So it feels fine, and
Hmm.
it feels fine having a place to come like yeah, like the grade school physically, where you can just chill and talk with people. And yeah, I feel lots of support here.
Hmm. Tell me about like what is the cohort of students like that you studied with at the Gray School?
It's diverse, I would say. um I think I was like, well, I think everyone was like in like two different cohorts, um because some people from my first year already graduated. Some people started with me, and then I'm having some classes with some new people like in their first year.
Hmm.
So it's been interesting like to share classes with some of them, but then again, because we are taking different concentrations, yeah, I don't spend that much time with them. But it's interesting to see how everyone's perspective is different. Like exactly depending on their concentrations, you can see in the core classes, I don't know, their main interests, if it makes sense, you know. I love the fact that I have met so many people from different countries, and the fact that no one is like it fits into a stereotype, you know? Like not even people from the US or Latinos or from Europe, like they are all different. So I don't know, I like to hear them talk in classes, and I feel like they have so much to give to the program because I can see how even professors kind of get sometimes surprised by hearing what international students are saying. Um, I guess it's like listening new perspectives. So yeah, I like that.
Thank you very much.